Well, to say I'm disappointed after that, that's pretty much an understatement. United drawing the first two games of the season. That one did not feel like Arsenal last week. Last week, I thought United deserved the 3 points. There against Fulham, I think a draw was a pretty fair result. And I'll be honest, I think, mate. That's how I feel after that game. First 10 minutes were electric. United played fantastic. You're thinking, great, we're definitely going to score here. We didn't score, we hit the post. Fulham came into the game. That Bruno penalty. The whole second half, the momentum was Fulham's. Like, the game against Arsenal was like shoots of it. It felt like a new season. It felt like a new United. That right there felt like United of last season. And Amorim, I suppose, ultimately, he's got let down by his players there. But I've got to speak about the captain. I've got to speak about Bruno after that game. That's the first penalty miss from Bruno since December 2023. What the hell was that technique? Bruno's head was not in that game. I don't know whether it's anything to do with the rumours off the pitch. I don't know whether it was because the referee brushed past him on... Really? I'm really going to put you off? Bruno's head was kind of gone that whole game. He's not had a good start to the season. And that game there, last week it was Bayindir, right? Bayindir's moment that gave Arsenal the goal, they won 1-0. That penalty miss from Bruno changed the trajectory of the rest of the game. I think it would be unfair of me to say that Bruno let him down because he missed his first penalty since December 2023, but Bruno's not been good enough in these first couple of games. I tell you who has, though, is Cunha. Mate, that ball from Bayindir, the chance from Cunha, him in the first half, hitting the post separately. United came out of the blocks firing. But kind of a little bit like Bruno, just momentum shifted. Just something changed. Fulham got into the game. I feel dead disappointed after that game. I really, really do. Yoro, I thought was unbelievable. Yoro really is a top level player. Playing really aggressive. I like the fact that De Ligt went aggressive again. We ended the game with two long throws from Dorgu and Delo, with Maguire on the pitch and Heaven coming off the bench, because that was United's best opportunity going forward on the pitch. And Bouma, I thought, was quite quiet. I don't think he really managed to get himself in the game. Šeško didn't really manage to get himself in the game. Cunha was our best attacker. Cunha wasn't our best player. I think that was Yoro. But Bayindir, I swear to God, right? It doesn't matter how good your distribution is. It doesn't matter what you do. If you flap at every corner like that, I had to watch those corners like one eye closed every single time. Insane how little confidence I've got in him. Insane how poor he is and how much of a weakness it is. I'm amazed that we didn't concede from a set piece. And then the goal that we actually conceded, Delo just losing the ball, De Ligt just letting the ball go past him, and Emil Smith-Rowe just nicking a toe on it. It's such a deflating draw there. The game against Arsenal, we thoroughly deserved. And that first 10-15 minutes, I'm sure you did the same. Thinking, yeah, this is what we saw last week. I think in that second half, the intensity wasn't there. The second half felt like last season. The first half felt like a bit of a continuation from what we saw against Arsenal, but ultimately the disappointment of that miss from Bruno. That was the moment that changed the game, in the same way that Bayindir flapping and missing the ball last week against Arsenal was the moment that changed the game there. And that means that United now started this season with 2 draws. We've dropped 4 points. It's already going to be difficult for us to get from 15th to 6th, but if you're doing that in these games and you're dropping points like that, well, then you're chasing the league from the very first game week. And Amorim's going to be pissed off at that performance, I think. I think he really praised the performance against Arsenal. Would he be pissed off at the performance? Yeah, I think in the second half the intensity wasn't there. We had Mount and Bruno playing in midfield, which was a bit weird. But that was his way of, I suppose, going aggressive, taking Casemiro off. Delo came on for Ahmad. Oh man, I'm just disappointed. I feel like one of those parents who comes out, I'm not angry, just disappointed. Because everything we saw last week is just swept under the carpet. Now the same questions are going to be asked. About United, about the intensity, about can they do it, blah, 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 blah. Because we just didn't deliver today. I don't know what was going wrong with Bruno. I don't know what was in his head. But what have we got now? We've got Grimsby coming up. And then, I don't know who we've got next weekend. It's a League Cup game. Mate, Cunha. Can we just get the ball to Cunha more? Like, what happened? What changed from, was it Fulham getting into the game? I actually think they were definitely good for the draw, and you could argue they deserved the win. If you wanted to. I think the draw is a pretty fair reflection. United not scoring when we're on top like that at the start of games, and this has happened quite a few times, it's almost like a bit of a sucker punch. Like the team just gets dead disappointed, and then the heads go down. After the Bruno penalty miss, kind of heads go down. But last week against Arsenal at Old Trafford, our heads didn't go down when we went 1-0 down. We actually just kept going and going and going and going, and we just did not do that today. There wasn't a continuation of that level of intensity for the full 90 minutes in the same way that we saw last week against Arsenal. Why is that? Because it's not because of fitness-related issues, because we're only playing once a week. We just couldn't seem to string too many passing moves together in terms of creating chances from it. The goal came from a set piece. The fact that Amorim brought on Maguire and Heaven and we were throwing long balls into the box meant that he didn't really feel that United were going to break Fulham down by creating chances with build-up. We were going for the set pieces. It's really annoying that it feels like last season. That's the way I would sum up that second half. And can I say here, quickly, before I end this video, say a big shout out to my Uncle Kev, to Ashling, to Kev, who I met last night in Derry. I said I'd give you shout outs, and I did. Unfortunately, as you can tell, I'm a little bit disappointed with that result.